Yes, and I will only use 5 minutes of your time because I know many of you have to rush to the airport. So first of all, I mean, I had written some things, but as usually, I never read the closing because there are so many inputs that makes no sense to read the closing. So first of all, thank you very much that you are all here. For me, when I trying to organize this meeting, taking the opportunity of the Claf Directive Council happening, and we decided to do it in Brasilia, not for any reason. It would have been much simpler to do it in Rio. The reason we decided to do it in Brasilia was to have the governments with us. So, and I was very surprised, and it was a source of satisfaction and discovery, very concrete discovery of the potential, the value, and the impact that Claf can have, that by inviting the governments, we had 5 ambassadors here this morning. So this is very relevant, means that Claf still resonates and can resonate high and do what Aragon just said. No, tap directly on the governments to make things happen. This year, I have visited a few countries. I've been to Uruguay, where with the support of UNESCO, we are going to do the General Assembly of Claf at probably at the UNESCO site in Montevideo to reinforce this relationship with UNESCO. I have been to Chile, and I had the chance to meet Ignacio Silva in the ministry, and now he's here, and he was also speaking in the meeting that we had in Rio 3 weeks ago to discuss specifically cooperation with CERN, which is a very important niche for our continent now. And I've been to Argentina and talked to the people from CONICET, from the Secretary of Science, and from CONEA, and today they're here. So this for me proves the value, the relevance, the role that Claf can play in this game, of cooperation, physics cooperation, to realize its mission of continue to promote the development of physics in Latin America, which is not anymore the same role that it played in the past, although there are countries that still need physics research to be semiated from the start. But the majority of the countries now, what we need and what I think is the important role of Claf is to make make the integration of the things that we already have. No, we have been discussing the role of, or if it makes sense for Claf to exist, or why it has its shape. I mean, the network of physicists that cooperate and build societies, it's invisible. And but somehow Claf is a visible knot of this invisible network. No, and by being so, it creates possibilities for as a point of convergence, of dialogue, of action. I believe that in this metaphor, Claf is not a protagonist. And I think this was kind of implicit in what Aragon said. Claf is not to be the main actor in all these things, but I didn't use the word intermediate boson when I was thinking about it, but I was thinking of the word cement. So that can bring the pieces together and help them, they find glue. Yes. So bring the pieces together to try to build an edifice that maybe in the future we can call Latin American physics, like the Europeans did very successfully over the past decades through instruments that Salvatore always reminds me and describing his presentations. So one of the things that I think Claf can do, and this meeting was a kind of to try out this for me to see if it could work, is to propose that Claf could more actively play this role of convening the important actors that can take decisions. And in this sense, it has a dual role. It is respected, and it has a capillarity and has a profound knowledge of the scientific community. So it knows where things are happening, which institutes and groups have potential, and where they are distributed in the continent. On the other side, as Aragon said, it has the legitimacy to summon the governments, to knock at the doors, to talk to the foreign offices and be heard. So I think one of the things that Claf should do actively and in a permanent way is to convey these discussions, but not as an institution looking for protagonism, but as an instrument of the member states, because that's what it is. And to be an instrument of the member states means to solve the problems of the member states. So as it convenes the governments, it wants to listen from the governments what they need to be solved and what are the priorities. And by knowing the community, which is something that the governments very often don't know with this depth, it can provide the government with the portfolio of possible solutions and also the instruments to decide where it's worth it to invest in a coordinated way to take out results from it. And why this discussion table or forum, we can call it the way it's more appropriate as we go forward, has to be permanent. Because our region, as we saw, oscillates a lot. The spins flip, the conditions for funding go up and down very quickly. But if we are always together, and we saw here that all the countries, independently of the political orientation they are at the moment, they all showed a very clear willingness to cooperate for the development of science in the region and share. So by being always together, we are always going to be able to identify where is the opportunity of the moment. And we should take the opportunity of the moment. Next year, the opportunity of the moment will be a different one, but it will be adding to the one that we took the year before. So that's what I would like to propose as a continuation of this meeting, especially because we have government representatives, institutional representatives here, people from the embassies, that we take this forward as a permanent place of discussion. And I think it's very useful that it's focused in physics, because it narrows the field, and not only focused in physics, we should do this focused in specific problems, because then we can take effective action out of it. If it's too broad, it's a talk shop. No, it can be some very ethereal. But if it's narrow, then it can lead to effective action. And there might be more than one of these thematic groups of discussion. But the thing is that we are together, and Claf has the role of, and has the mission of convening this discussion. The protagonists are the others. No, Claf has to do the effort of bringing together, because it has the legitimacy for doing that and has been tasked for doing that. So maybe next year we can use the CELAC forum to actually start this at the margins of this forum. I don't know, I'm just throwing this here, but it's going to be organized in Brazil. So maybe we can use some larger gathering to put this forward in a larger, with a larger proposal, and then really establish Claf as a discussion arena and a cooperation arena. So again, thank you very much. And it was both a pleasure and a satisfaction to hear all that you have said here today. Thank you. Yes. If you can survive another minute, we take a photo of everybody, and then who has the camera?